I'm Camden Roberts with Takoma Park City TV, and we're here at Art Hop 2019, a yearly festival where artists are able to showcase their work in partnership with local businesses. So alongside all of the art displayed, they've also got several small receptions. So let's go take a look. I'm here with Liz Seaton, a fourth-year artist at this year's Art Hop. How are you doing, Liz?
I'm doing great, thanks. It's a great day for painting out here.
So can you talk a little bit about what style of art you usually do?
Sure, I'm a watercolorist and then a children's book illustrator, and I've just been dabbling in the last year or so with gouache too. But usually I start out sketching, which I'm doing right now, a little warm-up for the scene I'm going to paint today. And as I mentioned to you a little bit ago, I got a grant from the Maryland State Arts Council, a creativity grant, to paint in plein air for 6 days this spring. So this is my second of those days. I did last week in Long Branch Park.
So is there a specific goal to that grant, or is it
Sure. All of their creativity grants are really to they're through the Maryland State Department of Commerce, and so they're part of their business development for artists in the state. And it's a great opportunity for artists, and I do want to let everybody know, the grant process is ongoing through this year, so they're accepting more applications now on their website, and because they gave me this very generous grant, I want to make sure to mention them and make artists know that they can get grants there if they apply.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I thought so.
So how did you get started in art?
Well, I'm a policy lawyer to start with, and I used to be a potter, but I kind of got the watercolor bug maybe 10 years ago. And so I just started painting. I taught myself mostly from books from the Takoma Park Library, actually, and then I finally, I bought a few. I go to an art camp in the summer, every summer. And then I show my work at Art Hop. I show it on Facebook. I have a website so I can get feedback from people, which is super important to my process here. And I've just learned a lot, and it's just fun.
So you said this is your fourth year at Art Hop, correct?
My fourth year at Art Hop. I was in Ace Hardware for 2 years, and then when Salon Jam started showing my work year-round, I've been here for 2 years. I missed 1 year because of a family wedding.
And how did you get involved with Art Hop initially?
I saw the festival happening, and I signed up for the Takoma Park Arts Council newsletter, and that's where I saw that it was happening, so I applied. And then, it's great because it helps develop relationships between the artists and the local community here, and so a lot of the businesses here show people's art more than just during Art Hop. For example, Roscoe's, I know, hangs people's art, and they've done that year-round. And here at Salon Jam, they do that too. And so it really just helps kind of build the relationships, and the Arts Council in Takoma Park was helping to promote it, although I think it's run by the Main Street Association.
Yeah. So you just saw it and you're like, oh, I should apply.
I should apply, and then we'll see what happens. I just started, I've been doing the watercolor for about 10 years. I started showing my work about 6 years ago, and then 5 years ago was my first Art Hop. So, it's great because it's given me a chance to talk about my art with everybody in the community. And, it's, for me, as somebody who works full-time in a totally different field, rather than having all my art in my studio at home, I get to show it and talk to people about it. And kind of steadily, people have been buying some of my paintings and illustrations, and I learn a lot from that, about what people like and what people want to see and what people want more of. And it informs my process, but I really paint for the love of it. So
that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate talking to you.
I'm here with John McQuillan, the owner of Salon Jam in Takoma Park. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good.
And so you've had an artist for Art Hop for many, many years.
I've been one of the first art businesses doing with Art Hop when they first started. And I always tend to keep them in for a year because it helps sell more of their business when people see it over and over again. Because a lot of people are worried about buying art, when they do it. So I like to keep it a whole year so that way it fills my wall space
Yeah.
and the artist gets recognition. So.
So what made you keep coming back?
Well, because I've always done it. With
Yeah.
Bobby Kintner started it pretty much, one of them, and I helped her out with it. And I throw a big party tomorrow. We have a huge reception here from 11 to 3, which people come and enjoy drinks and have fun and just good music. So that's beautiful. So that's how I kept doing it. It's just a good thing for the community.
And do you think it helps you build relationships with the community, with the artists?
With the artists, it also brings business into your business, because if you might not have had a customer in here and they see and talk to my hairdressers the same time they're talking to the artist, then it's a win-win for everyone. So the artist gets recognition, so does our business. Okay?
Fantastic. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
thank you so much. Great.
Hi, I'm here with Keith Kozlov, a second-year artist at Art Hop. How are you doing?
I'm good. Great.
So do you mind telling us a little bit about your art style, how you would describe it?
Well, it's kind of eclectic. I mean, I was experimenting with some long exposures for a while. This is from one of the 4th of July parades a few years ago, and so it shows some blur, which is intended to show some energy and motion. It kind of gives you the general impression of the subject. And then this is kind of whimsical. I'm playing around with a function in the camera that reverses the image, and so it creates a reflection. And I use that to create a brand new image. So I call these Gaia Guardians. They're sort of whimsical creatures that look over us.
So how did you get involved in photography?
Well, I guess my interest started back in middle school, which is a long time ago. And it's really been an important part of my life and an outlet for creativity. And in the last few years, I've really tried to go deeper into it. And I don't know what else to tell you. It's just been a lot of fun.
Can you talk about how you got involved with Art Hop itself, please?
Well, one of the things that's important to me is community, and so any opportunity that I might have to incorporate community into my photography is great for me. So this is just one way I'm doing that.
And then are there any of these pieces ones that are specifically meaningful to you that you want to discuss, or are they all?
Well, they all have different meanings. I mean, I'm interested in passageways, so there's a number of images here, like these two, that sort of open into different portals, and this is kind of along those same veins. It's a kind of a way into a different world, perhaps. And besides that, I like the natural world. This is a picture of what's called the grandmother tree. It's on the property of some people who own some old growth forest down in Virginia, which is under threat from development by a natural gas pipeline. So I wanted to take some pictures of the trees before they're all gone. So it's meaningful in that regard.
That's very cool. And so it looks like, this is inspired by community. You said it's our 4th of July parade. Mm-hmm. Are there other parts of Takoma Park specifically that sort of lead you to really want to capture that, or is it more just what you see?
Well, I think going forward, I want to have an opportunity to take pictures of people, because that's what really makes community. So that's going to be more of a new direction for me. I don't think you'll see too much of that reflected here, but that's an upcoming direction I want to take.
Great, thank you so much. And how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Is this your first time at Art Hop?
No, it's the second time, and I did it last year. And last year was my really first big event. And I really started my business with last year Art Hop. So that's why it's very important for me to do it this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what made you get involved with Art Hop in the first place?
In what? In this?
Or yeah, last year.
Oh,
How
last
did you
year.
decide?
I was looking for an occasion to meet people, and I know in Takoma Park people are more allowed to enjoy what I'm doing. So it was a good occasion with no risk for me.
And how was the experience of your first year?
Awesome! It was awesome. Yeah, that's why, because now I moved, I'm not living in DC anymore, but I'm living in Boston. And I'm coming just for that, for the weekend, because last year it was really it was a good experience with people I met, and then it was a good experience as a business too. So, and it was really good for me last year to work with the shop who were hosting me. The shop closed now, so now I'm here, and it's really nice with people who are ready to open and ready to help me with my business, and they are, as a new business here, they know what I'm doing and they know what I'm going through. So that's really nice to work with them too.
So can you talk a little bit about how you would define yourself and your art?
I'm making mostly, that's complicated for me to say that I'm doing art, but it's between craft and art. It's only unique pieces, it's only handmade by me, and so that's why it can be a little bit art, but I try to keep it with prices for everybody, that's important, and I'm working on actual subject that we can hear every day on everybody's daily life. Most of my work is feminist or humanist or just respectful for people, every kind of people. And that's also why it's important for me to do this kind of event, meeting people in the real life, in the real city as Takoma Park.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm here with Pauline, a second-year artist at Art Hop, and this year she's displayed at Kinda. How are you doing?
Pretty good, thank you.
So can you please talk a little bit about how you would define your art?
My art is, I don't focus on any one particular subject matter. However, I do acrylics and collages mixed with acrylics sometimes. So I like color, lots of color, and I'm interested in different shapes. So I do anything from abstracts to landscapes to non-representational stuff.
So what inspired you to get involved with that kind of art?
Well, I tried out lots of different things. First, I tried out different mediums, like did I want to do oils, did I want to do colored pencil. So picking the right medium first was what I did, and then subject matter just comes along. I mostly enjoy and am most successful with stuff I do intuitively. So it comes from here, I guess.
That makes sense. So how did you get involved with Art Hop?
Last year I saw it advertised and I thought, well, this might be something I'd like to do. I was looking for different venues and different things, and I used to live in Takoma Park, so I really like it. It's an enjoyable place, and so I said, well, I'm going to throw caution to the wind and do it. And I did it, and I was paired with my friend Ralph, who's the photographer with me, and it was just great. This location is really great. We get a lot of traffic. So when this year came around, I said, okay, I'm in. So here I am.
So how has it connected you to the community, do you feel like?
Well, I just think the number of people that are out and about and walking around, and as I said, the location, this whole area is great because there's always people walking around. I stand in the window and go like this, come in, and they come in, so it really, I think that's one way, And like I said, I used to live in Takoma Park, and I really like it. And I would like to make sure that, you know, I'm doing things that expose me to Takoma Park and to other areas. So.
That's great. Thank you so much. Ralph Blessing, a fifth-year artist at Art Hop. How are you doing?
Doing well, if I don't get blown away, yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about your style of art, please?
I do photography. I've been doing photography on and off for the last 40 or 50 years. You remember that. And only since I retired about 10 years ago was I able to devote the time to apply for different competitions and the like. The last 2-3 years I've had a number of photos exhibited in juried shows, so I'm feeling rather good about that, but it's still an effort to get things together for especially a weekend activity like this where you have to set up and be gone in 2 days.
Yeah.
But though they've been extremely kind to me, they've let my original batch of photos has been on the wall here for 2 years now. So, and I don't know if that's because they like the photos or because they don't want to see the nail holes when they take them down or what. But.
So how did you get involved in Art Hop and why?
In all honesty, I can't remember what. I must have seen it online because we have neighborhood listservs for. I live in Shepherd Park, just the other side of George Avenue, but we share listservs with folks in Tacoma, DC, and so they publicize things of this nature. And I guess I thought, well, yeah, a good chance to maybe get some exposure, and it's worked out well.
So if we can go back to your photography for a second, what subjects do you like to focus on? Is there one particular?
I mean, my exhibit here is strictly nature. The first year or two I did focus on Latin America because I spent a great deal of time living and working in Latin America, and so I had a wealth of or a large number of photos relating to that part, and that's more of the street photography type of thing. Yes, a little bit of nature, but by and large, people and places. But otherwise, I'm just addicted to color. I think it was when I got my cataracts repaired about 10 or 15 years ago, and you come out and you see colors that you didn't think existed, and I thought I was on drugs or something. But so I'm really, the colors you see in nature are what really excite me about photography.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
John Manning, the manager of CoWork. You said your second year hosting Art Hop?
Yeah, it's our second year hosting Art Hop, and we're really glad to support all of the talented artists in this community.
And how has your experience been this year?
It's been great. You know, the Tacoma Business Association really puts a lot of great effort into promoting these sorts of events and kind of showing and highlighting all of the talented kind of creative people in this area.
And so specifically for your space, because it's not quite the traditional business, how do you think that's changed how the art is displayed?
So I think having the art displayed in a co-working space gives us the opportunity for the members who come in here day to day to check out some beautiful art as they're working, and then conversely for the public who's coming in to check out the art, for them to also to learn more about us and what we do in terms of the event rentals that we offer and the co-working memberships that we offer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wayne, another one of the first-year artists here at Art Hop. How are you doing?
Great. Glad to be here.
And so can you talk a little bit about how you got involved with Art Hop in the first place?
I was actually considering, I'm actually considering moving to Takoma Park because of its vibrancy. I used to live in Boulder, and I like towns where I can walk and where there's nature and it's thriving. And so I thought, well, what better way to kind of get to know the neighborhood than to get involved in something like this? And I've been an artist for over 20 years, but I haven't displayed my work locally very much. The last time I displayed work was in DC. And so, yeah, I just heard about it and I applied and yeah, went from there.
And so how's your experience been so far?
Well, I loved having a reason to focus on my creativity again. I hadn't been planning to do like a show anytime soon, and so knowing that there's going to be people participating and having viewership, and also I'm holding a workshop today, so it was nice to have a reason to channel, I guess, the creative energy while I have a day job and all of that.
And so can you talk a little bit about your art and how you would describe it?
I use art as a conversation with myself, and so I often, it goes through layers, and then like this piece, it used to be, it started as just a silhouette of a tree. It was vertical, and then I just, as I painted it, I started to see different images of like cocoons and figures and this feeling of ascension, and so then I sort of worked on it like that. A lot of times I feel like the paintings sort of show me what's unseen in myself, what I haven't been looking at, and then I try to bring that into form and hopefully help other people connect to the parts of us that are sort of hidden or forgotten.
And so where do you like to draw your inspiration from?
From my heart. I usually like check in with what I'm feeling, and then a lot of times I'll start like writing. I'm actually kind of an extreme person, so like if I feel angry or upset, I'll start writing, and then sometimes I'll just like splatter paint, and then I will see things, and then I'll develop them. So it kind of comes from like the inside out.
And so you said you hadn't done that many shows in the past, is that right? So how has this been, I guess, like a new experience for you? How is that? I've done shows in the past, but I haven't, the fact that it's sort of like an open fair where I don't know what kind of people will be coming through or how many, there's like a little bit of sort of uncertainty and also curiosity about what kind of people are coming through. Like I know there like might be kids and just different age groups, and so like I just a little while ago I had a conversation with someone and kind of that aspect of not knowing who I might meet and just having a personal interaction. Okay, great, thank you so much.
No problem.
For a first-year artist at Art Hop. How are you doing?
I'm good.
So can you tell us a little bit about your art itself?
So my art, I started back in college and living in Latin America, traveling in Mexico. Over time I was very attracted to kind of sacred art. Latin America has a lot of Madonnas and stuff like that. So I got somehow affected by the power of those images. I'm not a religious person per se, but the images themselves always had a big influence on me. So I've always done Madonnas, both Italian, Hispanic style, New Mexican type of Madonnas. But I have kind of a twist on it in terms of not being trying to be kind of whimsical about it. The rabbit theme here is a theme that I've just been playing with for the past couple of years, and bringing in Madonnas and rabbits I thought was just kind of a oddball way to put in figures and I'm not trying to, not a political statement, but just trying to work with fusing different figures as well as images and different interesting, I hope interesting, and both provocative ways.
And so can I ask why rabbits specifically?
So we had a rabbit at one point, but I always thought, for me, growing up, and rabbits in novels and stories. I've seen other artists use rabbits in rather funny ways, and they kind of in their taking a kind of a conventional pet or creature, but giving it character, all of a sudden bringing it to life in a funny way, was what I'm after, is making them almost kind of have like human-like personality. So sometimes you don't really know where some of all your ideas come from places that they just occur to you. They come up, and I think that's true for me. But I think a lot of artists, if you ask them, why did you do this, or where does it come from, it's hard to say. I mean, it's just there, and you just act on it. And as I tell some folks, it's up to people that view the stuff to interpret the stuff for themselves.
So you said you've displayed your art in other businesses independently of events, correct?
Yes.
So how is this a different energy, a different feeling?
This is more of, I think, like a festival. I've done it just kind of independently in either an art store or in a restaurant, where the owner will let you hang your stuff for about a month, people and for sale. What's different here in this weekend situation is the whole town has got, all the businesses are showing different artists' work. So that's the main difference. For me, it's more of this is kind of a art festival kind of event. But I like being inside a business where you can be inside and share the stuff inside rather than being outside, outdoors. So I think that's the main difference for me.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thanks so much for following along with us for Art Hop this year. We'll see you next year. And from the We Are Takoma show, I'm Camden Roberts.